most on?
Well, the one I'm looking forward to seeing is Dominic Fortier, because he's a draft choice from Torrens, and it'll be very interesting to see how he makes his mark. He's only small, but a very good player, played in the Teal Cup. He's a rover, 20 years old, from Torrens.
And Herman running into the centre square there, number 25. He turns 23 on Tuesday. There's the hooter. The start of the second half at the Oval. Carlton against the Hawks. 3 points the difference. The Premier's lead. Madden wins it down. Taken by Blackwell. Towards half forward with a kick. Brown, big leap, couldn't take the mark. Gallagher does well. Feeds it out to White. The boots down towards full forward. Kernahan appeared to be held. No free kick. It's rushed through for a minor score by Collins. Galloping back after that one. He's a very good defender. It seemed Langford had hold of Kernahan's Guernsey there. Langford, the short pass in. Finds Deere, who under pressure, boots towards half back. Hall does well. Couldn't control it, though. It spills wide to be taken by Brown. He slips over. McGuinness is in there for Hawthorn. They battle after it. Umpire Harris decides to come across and ball it up. So bounce down. If he's game. Right half forward for Carlton. And he is game and gets a good one away given the circumstances. Madden down towards Phillips. He'll get a free kick. A couple there perhaps. Held and pushed. So young Phillips from half forward, a centering kick. Gallagher's in front. Gower's over the top. Brown couldn't control it. McGuinness slides over, knocks it out. Well done. Gowers couldn't control it again. White at close quarters. McKinnon gets a hand pass to Johnston. Well tackled by Buckenara. No big pardons in there. We'll have a ball up.
Very scrambly this game. It's the ball, very, very slippery, and the umpires haven't changed the ball each quarter.
When you think of all the talent and evidence on this ground, as umpire Cameron asserts his authority there, the ruckman wanting to go before he bounced the ball. It's just a shame we haven't got bright, sunny, still conditions, because they could really put on a show, these two teams. Johnston goes for a slide instead. He was pushed in the back, and he'll get the free kick on the centre wicket area. So Wayne Johnston, back off that rib injury, playing and picking up kicks, hasn't been a dominant player. Towards half forward, Kernahan couldn't take the mark. Opportunity behind for McGuinness. Kept his footing pretty well to Pritchard. To Gowers out of defence towards half-back flank, and Hall is always a very good escape route for them. They can find him because he can take a mark. If you're coming out under pressure, why not go to Tony Hall? Here's Dermot Brereton. The boots are on. Look out, London. Brereton alongside the centre circle. Penetrating kick towards half forward. DeRuy got a hand to it. Dunlop over the ball. DeRuy scrambles a kick out. Brereton in there again, but it falls to Hannah behind his marker. Hannah towards half forward. Gallagher takes a strong mark. Gallagher in the true centre half forward position. Goes by hand across to Phillips, but the umpire demanding the ball come back.
I thought Gallagher well within his rights then, but obviously the umpire didn't believe that he played on over his mark.
Gallagher down towards full forward. Kernahan almost the mark. Out of his hands it came to Deere, to Herman on the outer side. Herman wants to play on, pulls it back, close to the boundary line. Madden on his chest. Turned an ankle there.
Well, it came down rather awkwardly, Justin.
I think he was conscious as he went to that pocket of the cheer squad, doing their number between the fence and the boundary line. And being the gentleman he is, Justin was, I think, conscious he didn't cannon into the girls down there. So the big fellow right on the boundary line stabs at goal. That's a great effort from there. That's a goal. Carlton back in front as Madden boots them towards their half-forward line. O'Sullivan off the ground. And the mark is taken. It wasn't a mark. It was called play on. Gleeson snapped back towards goal. Kernahan leads in the race. Can't control it. Through it goes for a minor score. So one of the superstars of the VFL. There he is, Steve Kernahan. What a great player. We haven't seen a lot of him today. He's been well held.
A great battle between Kernahan and also Langford.
Langford boots in. And a good mark almost taken by Hall. Brown towards the pocket. Langford's in front down there. Schwab alongside to assist. Langford takes a gamble. Goes across the face of goal and finds John Platten. Platten will go short, looking for Kennedy. Pitches just inside the boundary line. Blackwell, sensing the danger, came across well. and knocked it out of bounds.
A lot of sting's gone out of this game. Looking around the ground, a lot of players walking into position, whereas earlier in the game they were running.
Diaz in front, one down by Madden, sharked by Platten. Platten's high kick goes back towards midfield. The Rui knocked it down. Buckenara over the top. Morrissey tried to knock it on. Alvin did well. Phillips slips as he kicks towards the pocket. Schwab through his legs. Taken by Johnston. Shrugs a tackle, Wayne Johnston. From 40 metres. Great snap. Kernahan, great mark.
Another great build-up by the Carlton side. Johnson getting away from Schwab. Schwab just couldn't grab the jumper, mainly because I suppose it's wet, but what a magnificent mark there by Kernahan.
Steve Kernahan will fire at goal from about 12 metres out. Sharp angle, but he's normally a very reliable kick. Kernahan gets the goal for the Blues.
Well, Stephen Kernahan has been held today. An interesting battle with Chris Langford. You see here on replay lining up for his first goal, but although Carlton do hold an advantage on the scoreboard, Hawthorn cannot be denied. They've got a lot of skill, a lot of experience out there, and they can cut a side to pieces in just a matter of minutes. So if Carlton want to maintain that 9-point advantage, they'll have to apply themselves all the time.
Madden wins it down. He's dominated the ruck. Platten's kick towards half forward and is marked there by Hannah.
This is young JJ. From Madden doing a great job in cutting around. There's a chance now. Fraser Brown. A little bit off target that time. He's really young. Don't forgive him for that. Let's take the other times on the ball. It'll be a free kick on the opposing side. With the glass over the line. The umpire throws the ball back into play. There is no offside in this game of football. Indian America.
Kennedy picks up on the boundary line and sends it back to Madden, the only Hawthorn player there, but under duress from Deere. Buckenara quickly onto the ball, brings it back into the centre. Abbott, good position in front of Dunlop. Just can't maintain the ball or control of it. Quickly over the ball is that young White, playing a very good game in the second quarter. Kicked the goal. The ball as it goes towards the boundary line. Brown shoots goalward. Moment to go right of the goal post for a point. Now Carlton 13-9, 45. Hawthorn 4-9, 33.
Ooh. So we've got a scramble across half back. Herman's in there. Having a few problems here, Don. Well done. Pinch hitting for me. Thanks for that. There must be water in everything today, I think. Here's umpire Cameron to bounce it down across half back there. Up goes Madden. Flicks it back, intended for O'Sullivan. Left the ball behind initially. Now he scrambles with Collins. We're going to have a ball up. 6-9 Carlton, 4-9 Hawthorn. Vital passage of play the last few minutes in the context of this game. The Blues looking good as Madden fists it down. Di Domenico tries to crash his way through, going nowhere. And I think we'll have another bounce.
Stephen Kernahan behind play doesn't look too good. He was squatting down on his haunches, obviously nursing a thigh, flexing that thigh.
Madden asserting his authority now, took clean possession and booted down towards the pocket. Di Domenico was taken high and he'll get the free kick. So one of the colourful characters of Australian football out of the back pocket, swings it out wide. Schwab takes the mark out there. Schwab's away, draws a man, goes over the top of McKinnon to Pritchard. Back it comes to Schwab. There's a runner wide. That's Morris. That's the direction the kick takes, and Morris has this ball at right half forward. Goes long down towards the forward pocket. Brereton comes across, knocked away by Aitken. Dunstall, deft deflection across towards Hall. That was bad luck for Hawthorn. Hit Loveridge on the heel there. And Hannah, quick to get it out of bounds. Good build-up by the Hawks. Needed a bit of luck.
You can see why they are so dangerous. They do run of the ball very well, Hawthorn, and they have numbers around when they do move it forward.
Madden failed to take clean possession that time. Morris showed a lot of courage. Hall goes in. It falls to Blackwell eventually. He clears the zone for the Blues and boots it back towards centre wing. Collins sitting on the ball out there. Gets a boot to it eventually. Johnston with courage went after it. Schwab's got the run of it. Schwab on the outer side wing. Pops one up towards half forward. Reaching in there, McKinnon to knock away. Great tackle on Platten. Down he went. Oh, he's going to get a free kick. Wasn't such a good tackle. Sullivan, according to the umpire, was in his back. So Platten, forward of centre wing. A centering kick. Brereton up, couldn't mark. Buckenara behind, couldn't control it. Hannah falls over. In goes Morrissey. Eventually it comes across to a Hawthorn player, Loveridge. And Loveridge finds Dunstall. Well, it was quickly onto the boot. Loveridge moving it in the direction of the champion full forward to good effect. Dunstall yet to kick a goal this afternoon. Should get this one, and he has. Deere opposed to Madden. Johnston, as he does so often, crashing through the centre area. Booting towards half-foot intended for Gallagher. He couldn't hold on. Gowers in close attendance. Gowers has done a good job at centre-half back today. He's a youngster with a great future. And we've got a bounce down. Centre-half forward for the Blues. One down by Gowers. Hand pass comes across from Kennedy to Platten, who was held without it, and he'll get the free kick. Haven't seen a lot of the champ today either. Johnny Platten. Intended for Gowers. Oh, closing on him from all directions, Carlton players. Gowers rather fortunate to get a free kick there.
I wonder who it was against. Was it against Brown or Madden?
I don't know. Gowers has got it, but there didn't seem to be much in that. It was a bad kick that brought him into trouble. Kick towards half forward. Great contest from Brereton to knock it away. Out of midair by Pritchard. There's about 25 metres. Players coming in from all directions. And there's going to be a free kick to Hawthorn. And even the Hawthorn players don't know which one of them will take it. Eventually it's going to be Morrissey. And the indication was a push in the back.
I thought it might have been against Morris on that occasion because he took his eye off when attempting to take that mark. He didn't make any attempt at trying to mark it overhead. So interesting decisions by the umpires. Peter Cameron and Shane Harris.
Morrissey just inside the 50-metre line. It looks a good kick. It is. Good, goes for a goal. Full credit to Hawthorn. The pressure slightly off in the last couple of minutes. And they take advantage of that, as you've said so often, Don.
Well, they are a good side. And Jamie Morrissey there kicking his second goal. 2 goals, 2 for the day. But they've just got stars on each line, and you just cannot afford to let Hawthorn go at any stage of the game because they can cut you apart. And ties locked away at the moment, 45 apiece.
There's Johnston from Madden towards half forward, and Gowers takes a very good mark. That gives an indication of the surface here. Langford to Kennedy. On the outer side, Pritchard gives it to Schwab. He's got plenty of space. Schwab touches it down for a second time, draws a man, now chips over the top. It's taken by Russell Morris out there. Scores it tight, an opportunity for Hawthorn to take the lead. Aitken came out though and pushed it away to Hannah. His kick travels only as far as Platten. Platten just forward of centre. Spirals one down towards the pocket. Dunstall with a lot of courage couldn't take the mark. This is Loveridge. Blackwell did well to trap it. Knocked out by Dipia Domenico. Morris sliding in there. Dunstall. Socket eventually by Aitken after the valiant attempt to control the ball by Alvin. And Aitken proceeds to put it out of bounds. And really the players of both sides have gone at this one in a way that has to be commended, Don.
Yes, just went through my mind that there haven't been any serious injuries, touch wood, and I suppose you find that on days like today where players are putting themselves in, the weather being like it is, there are not too many injuries.
Madden is dominant now on the ball. That was superb the way he got it down to Gleeson, whose kick has brought the ball up towards half forward. Dipia Domenico did well to Pritchard, now Hall, who's played very well. Hall long into the forward line. Aitken is down. There's some indecision between he and Dunlop. I heard a call from up here. Aitken, I'm sure, called Dunlop out, but Dunlop put his hands up, and as a result, no mark was taken down there for Carlton, and the ball, luckily for them, spilled out of bounds in the right full forward pocket. So we've got a throw in. Testing time for the Blues. Morris behind the pack. Brereton brilliantly to Dunstall. Dunstall running away from his own goal. Can't control it. Gleeson collides with Alban. Aitken towards the boundary line, and they'd be happy with that. There was an opportunity there, a half chance for the Hawks that they couldn't take, but great vision by Brereton. He saw Dunstall. He didn't try and take the ball. He tried to knock it out. Dunstall couldn't control it. Got the throw in. Oh, well done by Madden. One arm was being held, and he still got the deflection down. Dunlop into the path of Aitken. Russell Morris does very well, outnumbered 3-1. He got it out of bounds.
It's interesting to see what the Hawthorn and the Carlton players realised that Abbott was going to hook it back over the back. They ran to that position, and it just was deflected by Madden's arm.
Really putting his stamp on this game now, Madden. Brereton. Sandwich between about 3 Carlton players, almost made something out of nothing.
He's capable of doing that, Dermot Brereton. It was a great effort.
So Hawthorn lead by a point now, 6-10 to 6-9. They led by 3 points at quarter time, 3 points at half time as Derui boots in. It's a depleted Carlton side. The conditions certainly have helped them. Madden, and why not go to him? He gets the free kick for a push in the back. Spirals one towards half forward. Johnston in front did well. It falls to Phillips. Hurried kick across the face of the oval. It's taken by Kennedy. Breaking into open space is Pritchard. He's been a live wire in this term. Darren Pritchard out on the boundary line. McKinnon does well. Then should have been pinged for holding the ball. Wasn't. Hand pass comes from Pritchard to Loveridge. Over the top to Collins. Collins has the ball on the outer side. Looking for support. Pritchard back into the fray. Fortier showing great courage. Hall. Dunlop tries to crash his way through and succeeds. Well, almost. Got a kick away. And a great mark is claimed down there and will be paid to Schwab.
Fortier's hurt himself after throwing himself in there, nearly his first touch in league football, and he's come up with a, looks like a rib injury.
I didn't see him come on, but he's apparently marking Platten now. Barber's delight that pair. Morrissey off the ground. It's out of bounds. Well, perhaps if they said yes, they would be. Clearly they abstain. Boundary throw and outer side. Madden wins it down, then gets it on the ground. Morris was pushed in the back, I thought. No free kick to Rui. Back towards midfield. Valiant attempt to mark by Gowers. Unsuccessful. Phillips was pushed in the back, and he'll get the free. And certainly Hawthorn having to work to get their free kicks.
And Carlton made a change with Kernan to centre-half forward, and Gallagher now at the full forward position.
And those men immediately into the fray. Blackwell wide at the congestion. Scrambles a kick forward into open space. Deere is there for Hawthorn. Deere deep in the back pocket, over the top to Kennedy. Kennedy with Platten inside him does brilliantly. Use that as a decoy. Then distributes the ball downfield. The mark is taken by Hall. Hall hand pass to Platten and immediately peeled off to Shepherd. Great football by Hawthorn. They've moved up a gear now as they were challenged. Platten deep into attack. Up in front was Aitken. Dunstall superbly gets it across to Abbott. Charge down. Well done by the Carlton defence. Storming out was Kennedy. The kick goes towards the pocket from Deepia Domenico. Down went Morris, and Morris is going to get a free kick. And you can sense these players really are playing in earnest now. This tempo has changed considerably.
Yes, well, this is an interesting decision here. I thought Dunlop, I suppose after he got rid of the ball, he carried on with his follow-through from the punch. And the umpire, yes, I suppose I do agree. But initially I thought should have been called play on because Dunlop punched the ball away. But nevertheless, Morris has the kick. Only 20 metres from goal, right forward pocket for Hawthorn.
This to stretch the lead to 7 points, or maybe 2. Russell Morris. What's he done with it? It's close. It's Madden thumped it out again. Gleeson, his target is over the ball, but going nowhere. Schwab, what great courage he's got. Schwab, perhaps one of the undervalued players in this Hawthorn side over the years, Don.
Yes, he is, and he's worked himself up. It hasn't been an easy trip to the top for Peter Schwab. He's really had to work his way through and has improved over the years too.
Just watch him there off the ball, just finding his man around that pack. A disciplined footballer. And this Hawthorn side's built so much on discipline. The hand pass came out from Hall to Pritchard towards half forward. Brereton, he of the green boots, goes back and takes the mark. Now, Don, what's your feeling about a player going off and changing his boots into something akin to bright
Well,
blue?
we've all got our idiosyncrasies, Dennis. I suppose I've got mine, you've got yours.
I've
And
certainly got a few, Don.
Dermot Brereton's got his, and that is his green boots.
I just asked. So here's Brereton. Very close to the man on the mark. Not a bad-looking kick. It slides across the face. Off hands down there. Morrissey kept it in. Kennedy runs it out.
The further this game goes, I've got a doubt about the Carlton's fitness, because a lot of these younger players would not have trained. Their reserves, although did get in the final, they went out rather early, and a lot of these players wouldn't have had any fitness work.
Loveridge misses to the right-hand side. Hawthorn increased their lead at 7-11 now to 6-9. So Carlton skipped away in this term, as they did in the second quarter. But I suppose the worrying thing from Colin Kinnear's perspective, who's coaching the side this afternoon, is that on both occasions when they've got out to near 2 goals, which is a pretty good lead in these conditions, Hawthorn really have mustered something and come back strongly against them. It's a good kick in from DeRuy. It's taken by Deere, socket forward by Kennedy. Kennedy coming through his namesake across half back for the opposition was held without it. The free kick was paid, but advantage now is paid. Domenico takes the mark alongside the centre circle. Domenico with his kick towards half forward. Brereton is up to take the mark. Dermot Brereton getting on top well and truly now across half forward. Will kick at goal from, I suppose, 40 metres out. He'll go close from here. Brereton, a magnificent kick. That's very close. It's a behind. Well, I thought almost directly behind that one. It was a goal. It didn't miss by much.
He hasn't got his kicking boots on today, Dermot. 1 goal, 3. But he does look dangerous when he gets a ball.
Steve DeRuy, a little indecisive. Kicks in from the Vauxhall end, and the mark is taken by Pritchard. Hasn't he had a quarter? To Buckenara. Buckenara 50 metres out from goal, pulls it back across his body. A wayward kick. It's out of bounds on the full in that right full forward pocket. Darren Pritchard, one of the key reasons why they've got back into this.
And also, Pritchard linked with a couple of other players. If you're a forward at Hawthorn, you can always lead with confidence, because those fellows will deliver the ball so well.
Out of bounds, out towards centre wing, and Alan Joyce, of course, continues on a roll. Should Hawthorn win this, if they go to Toronto and win the Foster's Cup, they've won just about everything that moves this season. The night premiership, the day premiership, and who knows, they've got their sights set on the Foster's Cup by the way they're playing. Paul unhappy, he was penalised there. 40 has got the free kick. From Adelaide, towards half forward goes his kick. Collins waiting behind, committed brilliantly, great courage as he went and met Gleeson. This is Domenico. Gleeson is down hurt. I think he's hurt his ribs out there. Domenico back into the fray, scrambles a kick forward. Madden leads in the race out towards the boundary line. Trying to keep it in, he did so well. Socket off the ground by 40 to no one in particular. Kennedy, an untidy hand pass at the feet of Schwab. Schwab hooks it around the boundary line. Missed out there by a Hawthorn player in Pritchard initially. In fact, he's claiming the ball, but it doesn't matter anyway, because we're going to have the hooter. 3/4 time at the Oval, and Hawthorn 7-12, Carlton 6-9, so they've increased their lead in effect, Hawthorn, in that term. They led by 3 points at halftime, and they've successfully, at least for the moment, put down the Carlton challenge to lead by 9 points at 3/4 time. Thanks, Dix. I'm sure they could. They're both consenting adults, and we don't care what they do. So the start of the final quarter. There's the bounce. Madden wins it down, as he's done so decisively throughout. The numbers at 3/4 time showed him to be well on top in the ruck. Kennedy off the ground. Carlton can ill afford to concede an early goal. He was pushed in the back surely, and Kennedy will take the free kick. Kennedy. High kick towards midfield. Morrissey did well to work his way to the front, try to crash his way through. Out there was Hall. Socket out of mid-air by Fortier, and a good mark is taken by McKinnon. Top mark to Johnston towards half forward. The tumbling kick. There's no one behind this pack except Collins, running back with the run of the ball. Takes it, swings play back towards the middle. Madden from the standing start towards the pocket, and he finds Phillips. Lucky, but effective. Now, Phillips could score from here. He'll kick from about 45 metres out. The ball is pretty heavy. There's some smoke behind the stand at the far end. That's wafting left to right. So against Phillips as he kicks in towards full forward. No mark was taken by Gallagher. Kennedy got the hand pass to Schwab. As he's done all day, he relieves pressure. Taken by a man on centre wing, McKinnon. Hand pass comes across from White. Fortier goes long towards goal. Dippy Domenico ducks back. That's Pete. Takes the mark on his chest. Dippy Domenico goes across towards Platten and finds him. And Platten certainly lifted in that third quarter. Donny came right back into it, and his influence has been pronounced. Madden may be winning in the air, but Platten's doing well on the ground. There's Hall. Morris, head down, confronted by Fortier. Morrissey in the tackle of DeRuy. Hand pass straight up in the air. Dunlop slaps it towards the boundary line. Abbott can't control it. Out of bounds and will be thrown in.
Fortier is quite an impressive player. He just came on halfway through that third quarter. His first attempt at the ball, he was injured, but he has recovered, so obviously he's a pretty tough little customer. And looks like he might have a little bit of a future.
Madden knocked it down to Dunlop. His hand pass intercepted by Hall, who's been a star, to Dippy Domenico. Scrambles a kick forward. Kennedy to Abbott. They've got the extra man. Buckenara back towards Kennedy. Kennedy on the ground does well to Loveridge. He's surrounded Loveridge, claimed by Kennedy. That wasn't his teammate. It was Kennedy from the opposition. Michael Kennedy eventually sent a kick towards the outer side wing, and Madden's got the free out there. A marvellous player for them. To Blackwell, he's on centre wing.
Hawthorn to three-quarter time, Dennis, have really dominated this game. When you look at the statistics, 146 kicks, 68 handballs, nearly over 200 possessions, whereas Carlton, on the other hand, 117 kicks to 22 handballs.
Really applied pressure, Carlton. There hasn't been a lot of finesse about their game, and again, it's an evidence there as White crashes in and scrambles after the ball. They'll have a ball up. Full credit to them. Young and experienced team. A lot of names we hadn't heard of before coming in. Players on the perimeter of league football and some from interstate. McGuinness is on top of it out there. And we'll have another ball up, number 47.
Interesting enough, that ball will be bounced on the cricket pitch. Now, I wonder whether that has a concrete underlay with the matting on top. Very hard if you land it on it all.
He bounces it just off that area. I mentioned 47, one of the young tyros out there this afternoon for Carlton. That was McKinnon. That time Blackwell had the run of it. Got the deflection across to DeRuy. Back towards half forward, and a very good mark is taken by Brown. He's now wearing number 59. He was earlier number 20. As if it wasn't confusing enough. Brown goes long down towards full forward. Off hands. Collins waiting behind. And Langford has kicked it out of bounds on the full by soccering off the ground into the behind post. So very much a decision of centimetres there. Had it gone to the left of the post, he would have forced a behind or rushed a behind. As it was, he's conceded the free. This is Kennedy, who runs around trying to narrow the angle. Then he kicks it out of bounds. He's actually lost ground on that.
What a shocking kick. You couldn't believe it, could you?
It wasn't his best effort. He'd like that over again. Now what's happened? It must have touched a Hawthorn player there, because we've got the throw in. Play goes on. Trying to knock it on down there is Gallagher. Socket off the ground by Langford out towards the boundary. Sockering it around the boundary is McGuinness, and the ball follows the curve for a while, then just rolls gently across the line.
You see then that little passage of play how dependent Carlton are on little men. They've got to get into the game. Madden bringing the ball to the ground, also Gallagher bringing the ball to the ground, and those little men are the linchpin as far as Carlton are concerned.
But Madden really is the key to this side, isn't he? As shown again there as he got it down to White. He really is an influential player for the Blues. Chris Langford, who's defended stoutly today against a couple of opponents. Boundary throw in, left half forward. Not as gloomy as it was when play started today. Gleeson slung in the tackle. Forced forward by Gallagher. Over the head of Kernahan and Langford. Brown goes in looking for the soccer. It's sockered off the ground the other way by Collins. Loveridge going nowhere, slung out of it. Platten and Kernahan tangle, two of the superstars of the VFL.
And one other player there that also is very impressive, although he has played league football before, is Michael Gallagher. Now, he injured his knee and just hasn't cracked it this year. He is a good player. You can see by the way that he handles the ball, his handling is very, very sure.
Leaping over the top of that pack and fisting towards the boundary line was Gowers. Look at Domenico. Down goes Platten, taken high, says the umpire. Kennedy not amused. Platten gets the free kick. Those orange mouth guards are a bit of a trap. Quite often you think the player is bleeding from the mouth. That's not the case. In fact, we saw Platten smiling just moments ago after that confrontation with Kernahan. There's not a confrontation as DeRuy tried to crash his way through. Gallagher. Brown is in deep, dark trouble there. Gowers picks it up. Hand passes into the path of McGuinness. McGuinness is at right half forward, measuring his options, gets around DeRuy with ease, and now is called for going too far.
You see the pressure has started to go out of this game, the way that McGuinness could go left, right, looking for options. It's more or less slow motion replay.
We've seen a couple smiling at each other too. You don't approve of that. 7-12 to 6-9. DeRuy back towards centre wing. Knocked down by Dia. Fortier, the hurried kick towards left half forward. Close to the boundary line. Langford, true to his nature, just pushes the ball out of bounds.
The Carlton forward's getting well up the ground, and if that long ball came in, there was just nobody in the goal square on that occasion.
We've played 7.5 minutes in this final term. There's the throw in. Platten confronted by Johnston. Brilliantly done.
Great smother, Johnson.
That was cat and mouse. Would have had a ruffle too. Look at that. Platten looked up, saw Johnston was bearing down on him. Tried to sell him a decoy, but Johnston was having none of it. There's Platten again in the thick of things. Johnston's got the ball meantime. Goes goal, but that's a magnificent effort from there. Just slides across the face and bounces through for a minor score. So Carlton can't get the goal. That will bring them back into this game.
Hawthorn making changes. Domenico going off and Robert Dixon coming on, as Scott McGuinness is also going off and Raymond Jenke coming back on as well.
Back in midfield. Pritchard's got an opportunity for the Hawks now. In short, beautiful kick, and he finds Dixon, who was thinking of going. Dixon has the ball across half forward, midway between centre half forward and left half forward. Kicks towards full forward. Brereton is down there. Hannah got a fist on the ball. Brereton tries out of midair. Doesn't connect. And Aitken content to track it across the goal line for a behind. I've never seen so many smiles in a close game before. Everyone's got a grin on their face. Here's DeRuy. 7-12 to 6-10. Hawthorn lead. DeRuy goes straight up the middle. Intelligent kick. Dunlop takes a good mark. Beats Hannah, who was almost in the grasp of Dixon. He did well to break away. Sends play towards half forward. Up comes Kernahan, held by the arm surely. He'll get a free kick. Kernahan goes for a vacant goal square. Will it slide through? It slides the wrong side of the major opening for the Blues and through for a minor score. But they creep closer. The margin is back to 8 points.
The cheer squad getting into the act.
There's Collins, oblivious to all of that. They work it forward yet again. Pritchard towards half forward, and the mark is taken by Hall. Barking instructions as he goes back. What an acquisition he's been this season, Tony Hall. Right near the top of the Brownlow medal voting. Brereton couldn't take the mark, but as always battles on the ground. Pritchard, can he keep it in play? No, he can't. He's been a star this afternoon, Darren Pritchard, and will have a boundary throw in. One sense is the next goal will either kill this game or bring it right to life. Hawthorn through Abbott interfering there, and once again the man who's had as big an influence on this game as anybody else, Justin Madden, gets the free. He was up early yesterday morning too. He kicks towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Gallagher. I saw him interviewed on local television promoting the game about 6:05 in the morning. He slept well last night. This is Langford. Gets the hand pass across to Loveridge. Loveridge in turn goes back to Collins. Collins breaks away from defence and kicks towards midfield. Fortier comes hard, but the mark is taken brilliantly by Hall. And so often, Don, when they bring it out, they look for Hall because he is just so good overhead.
Oh, they're a very skilled side, Hawthorn. They deliver the ball so well, and you can lead with confidence when either teammate gets the ball.
Nice to have a marking centre-line player, though, isn't it, when you're coming out? I mean, if you're in trouble, just boot it high, and he's the sort of bloke that will take a mark opposed to most centre-line players in the competition. Dixon couldn't take the mark out there. Was knocked away by Loveridge. Opportunity out there for Blackwell. In turn, Hawthorn pump it towards the boundary line. They'll have a boundary throw in. Paul Deer's on the ground out there.
Finally got a run. I thought he might have been the unlucky man, come all this way without a run. He's doing the ruck work.
He might have said the lucky man. Dunlop's in front. And the ball is forced out of bounds. That's Dixon, number 21. There's the bench. Alvin nursing a cut above his left eye. Meantime, we're back with Dixon. Kicks down that gasometer wing. Aitken waiting behind the wrestling Brereton and Hannah. Hannah's kick is charged down by Buckenara and spills out of bounds. We'll have a throw in left ball forward for the Blues, or rather for the Hawks.
Interesting to see here if Deer tries to hook this ball back. Now, Hawthorn usually do this with Abbott, but Deer is in ruck at this stage.
He did pretty well to get Madden out of it. He's surrendering a lot of centimetres there. Trying to crash his way through and going nowhere, one Carlton player. That was Noonan. And we're going to have a ball up. Platten emerges brandishing the football, and that smile again. Madden decisively down to Hannah. Beautiful ruck work that. Hannah with a high kick around the outer side wing. Over the top flew Hall, couldn't take the mark. Socket off the ground by Gallagher. Back towards the centre area. Schwab comes down, sockers it on the bounce. Well done. He covered a lot of ground with that kick. Hannah miscues this time. It goes towards centre half back off the outside edge of his boot. Brereton sliding in. Great courage, great desperation. Over the ball, a Carlton player just grabbed and dragged out bodily there. Should have got a free kick. That's Phillips. Is it White? It's White. No free kick forthcoming. So we've got a ball up inside half forward. Madden wins it down. Herman crashing into him was Loveridge. Diving on it, Buckenara. The umpire Harris wants it again. 13.5 minutes played.
Hawthorn players just do the right thing at the critical stage, the way that Buckenara just threw himself across and trapped that ball and held it in the forward line. Good
Madden
play.
was up, couldn't control it. Paul, close to best on ground, I'd suggest now, Tony Hawes. He went in there very strongly. And once more, another bounce down. 10 metres in from the boundary, about 35 metres from goal. Madden playing the percentages there, knocks it down towards Fortier, but he hedged his bets because the boundary line was near Fortier. He was content to see it go out of bounds. The big fella, great ambassador on this tour. Of course, it goes without saying, a great player. Opportunity for Hall. Couldn't control it that time. DeRuy falls on top of it. Aitken emerges with it. Scrambles a kick about 2 metres. And once more, the umpire will be called upon.
The Hawthorn players just hunt in packs. They run in numbers. They do want the ball, and when you do want the ball, you do happen to be drawn to it. You have more options around it, and when the opposition do get it, as on that occasion, you've got players there willing to tackle and able to tackle.
Madden clean possession, got it to Dunlop, boots it wide, close to the boundary line. Platten leads back in the race, but the boundary line will win. 7-13 Hawthorn, 6-11 Carlton. Approaching 15 minutes in the term. We're pitting Collingwood, convincing winners over Geelong in Miami earlier today. Madden is up, wins it down only as far as Kennedy, gets it to Loveridge, but there's a whistle. Oh, Kennedy threw it, according to umpire Cameron. He's been pretty hot on that today.
Well, he made one bad one earlier with Peter Domenico when he obviously punched the ball, but he had his back to Peter Cameron, and I thought maybe Kennedy on that occasion got the ball away cleanly.
O'Sullivan, high kick towards half forward. The boot went about as far as the ball. Johnston Stands and delivers, boots it towards his half-forward line. Loveridge did brilliantly, as did Schwab. Great vision, great composure. Got it to Jenke. Back it comes to Schwab. Schwab breaks away, draws a man, goes over the top to Kennedy. Kennedy back inside to Schwab, confronted by Gallagher, gets the hand pass away, knocked on by Collins, scrambled forward there by Johnston, and now an opportunity to rebound the ball. O'Sullivan over it, knocks it out to Kennedy. Kennedy the high kick towards half forward for the Blues, but reaching over the top, Abbott takes a very good mark. Paul Abbott, 6 goals in the grand final. Along the outer wing. In front was Madden, waiting behind Hannah. Back towards his half-forward line. Jenke was up, trying to fist it away. Collins plays it very, very well. He was held without it. He's going to get the free. But once more, that discipline and evidence as he went to the boundary.
He's played well up there, Collins. He mops up very, very well, runs across the back of packs and does clean up the loose ball.
Abbott breaks away from half-back. Abbott. Chip pass in short. Gowers reaching for it, couldn't control it. The meat in the sandwich was Blackwell. Still he goes. Crashing in was Noonan there, looking to shepherd. Some distance away from the ball. Upset a couple of Hawthorn players, but no damage done. And umpire Cameron to bounce it again. So time becoming a factor now. This is Kennedy. He's tried hard on the ball since he was shifted there midway through the third term. Gowers off the ground. Out wide towards the boundary line. Strong shepherd from Dixon. Gowers kept it in back towards Dixon, but then it trickles tantalizingly close to them across the line. Plenty of those in the yard today, both cans and hats, and scarves and umbrellas. There's Madden trying to crash his way through. Knocked out of there by Paul Deere. Dunlop in a test of strength may, yes, he has been penalised for holding the ball. So Tony Hall, marvellous game, a fine player. From centre wing towards half forward. Morris in from the side. Brereton and his teammate White threads a hand pass out. 40 are close to the boundary line. Can he keep it in? Paul Deere's got it now. Mick Kennedy does very well for the Blues. Goes over the top. On the outer side, they're working it well. Noonan gave it back to Fortier. Fortier goes looking for support in Johnston. Platten with courage. And again, well played, brilliantly done to Schwab. The hurried kick goes close to the boundary line. Paul Deere got it to Hall. Across it comes to Morrissey. Morrissey goes down towards the pocket, and Brereton takes the mark.
Well, it all started with Johnny Platten. He's terrific the way he can keep his head over the ball, and he missed on the first opportunity, but came back and he set up the play, which has resulted in this mark to Jamie Morrissey. He certainly can create if somebody's willing to put their body in, and Platten did on the centre wing, and now the other players further up the ground are capitalising on his football.
Jamie Morrissey has kicked 2 goals. Will stamp him as the leading goal scorer in the game if he's accurate. He kicks from about 40 metres. It looks pretty good, and that could be a sealer as far as the... It's Scrambley back in the middle, and Carlton are getting a free kick. Tennis Committee and Don Scott at the Oval for this Foster's Cup match. It's been most enjoyable this afternoon. Both sides to be commended on the way they have initially in the build-up to the game spread the word, spread the gospel, and the way they've gone about their business this afternoon. This is John Platten, who's just forward of half-back, and certainly since half-time he's been an outstanding player. Approaching 20 minutes in the final quarter. Paul Deere close to the boundary line, can't keep it in. He's been handy since he came on.
It's just that in-between size. He's just not quite big enough to be a ruckman, although he's strong enough and got the bulk. He's just not quite quick enough to hold down a central position.
Classic example of what Don was saying there. Madden reaching over the top and getting it down to Noonan, despite the real work shown by Deere to initially come side to side, then get in front. There's Dyson. Bounce. Madden crashes into Deere. That hurt Madden. And that's the sort of thing a player like Deere is going to do all the time to try and make up for his lack of centimetres. Now Platten's getting a free kick. John Platten on the Foster's logo out of side.
Just no options for Platten. It's a stagnant forward line from Hawthorn.
Dunstall couldn't hang on but interfered in any case. And Aitken will get the free kick down there. So the clock is running down with Hawthorn 8-13, Carlton 6-11. Herman. Herman in the back pocket, touches it down once. Alvin just back on the ground. Gives a number to Carlton. Well played, though, by Brown, who got it across to Hannah and turned to Dyson. Dyson goes long towards half forward. Kernahan's in front down there, knocked away by Langford. Good shepherd by Collins. Bought some time for Langford, who, as it turns out, needed it. His first soccer was unsuccessful, but eventually the ball comes to Pritchard. Pritchard boots it towards half forward. Brereton, a real clash of bodies there. Brereton and DeRuy, and the crowd enjoyed that down in front of us. Spills to Buckenara. Brereton goes back and takes a courageous mark. He was looking for somebody, I think, to run into that time.
He could kick this, Brereton.
The kick from about 50 metres out. Tries for the spiral. It's a long kick. They contest right on the kickoff line. Dunstall to the outside of the boot. That would have been an uncanny goal had he got it. He didn't. He missed by a long way. It went out of bounds on the full in the right full forward pocket. 8:13:61 to 6:11:47. Knocked on by Aitken. Loveridge left without it. Aitken off the ground. Fortier couldn't control it. Platten sliding in there. Claimed by Kennedy. Kennedy, throughout that tackle, was talking to the umpire, Umpire Cameron, giving him some insight into what was going on. John Platten. What a player. There's interference to Madden, surely.
That's really all Deere can do. He's got to learn to use his body and jump that little bit early, but he did infringe on that occasion.
Madden squares the ball, and Buckenara takes a superb mark.
He's a great athlete, Buckenara. He's a single-figure handicapped golfer, and just about anything he lays his hand to, he is very good. And that pass then, terrific stuff.
Jason Dunstall has the ball in the right full forward pocket. 132 goals on the season. 16 Brownlow votes. Just off the pace behind Gerard Healy. This will test him. Has he got the accuracy? I don't think so. I think he's missed to the near side. So a minor score increases the lead for Hawthorn. They're 8-14, Carlton 6-11. An abysmal day this morning. Rain was tumbling down incessantly when we got here. Very few people at the ground. They have increased the number of spectators as the day has worn on. Loveridge gets a goal for Hawthorn. That should end Carlton's chances of making the... We're back in the centre, approaching time on. 24.5 minutes have been played. Langford, deft deflection out wide. It's taken by Kennedy. Superb walking in there. Platten goes to ground. Kernahan is claimed by Kennedy, and we'll have a ball up.
Hawthorn has certainly gone on with this game. Their fitness, their system of play, I suppose that's understandable because a lot of these Carlton players haven't played senior football and they just are not up to it at this stage. But they really did apply themselves early in this game. Just youthful enthusiasm. Gowers gets a couple of kicks there, one of which hit Platten between the fours. And the ball's gone out of bounds on the outer side wing. Russell Morris didn't have a great season for Hawthorn. He's a better player than what he showed on the course of the 1988 season. Madden wins it down. Hand pass comes out from Hall. There's the hooter. Hawthorn have won. So Hawthorn through to the final of the Foster's Cup. And I think despite a spirited showing from Carlton, especially in the second quarter, they were the superior side. That was borne out by the figures we saw throughout the day. They really did have a lot of the ball. Carlton had great attitude this afternoon, and full credit to them and their coach of the day, Colin Camilla. He got a real spirited showing from his charges, but Hawthorn really just too strong. They led at every change by 3 points at quarter time, 3 points at half time, 9 points at three-quarter time, and finally they've run out convincing winners. I think the gentleman operating the scoreboard wants to get home pretty quickly because the numbers have come down. Have you got the final score there, Don? Yes, the final score. Hawthorn 9-14, 68. Carlton 6-11, 47.
We'll be back in just a moment.